Updates on the I-95 reconstruction project.
But look for those delays to quickly form from the 495 split heading towards Wilmington.
We'll help you get through or around the problems.
Southbound I-95 in the work zone coming down from 202.
Traffic Watch on 1150 AM, 1017 FM, WDEL, Delaware's News Radio.
Yeah, back with another one of them block rockin' beats. The Rick Jensen Show continues. Producer Randy filling in today. If you'd like to join in on the fun, 302-529-1017, 302-529-1017. I love reading the texts on the air. It's my favorite part. All right. Now, I have about 87 other links to get to. But I never even finished the one clip I was playing because I kept stopping it, commenting on it. Hey, I stole that from Rick. when we read the text and we stop and comment on it. But that's part of doing radio, the commentary. All right, so here's, I just want to finish this one so I can put this one to bed. This is the one where it's probably where a lot of this started. I mean, it started a long time ago when people started making money, investing in war profiteering, and then becoming congressmen and women, and then pushing their agenda. But I got to tell you that the same way I say the best senator, United States senator. Each little state has their own little House of Representatives, their own little senators. Not one of them. I'm talking about the 100 United States senators. The very best one is Rand Paul. And the very worst one, and this is quite an honor because there's a lot of really bad ones, is Lindsey Graham. And here's Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, every 5 minutes, is saying, he pronounces Israel really weird. He says Israel. Very bizarre pronunciation. Israel. It's your favorite country. You would think you would pronounce it right. He's an Israel firster. All right. I'm an America firster. Sorry to let everybody down. All right. So here's Lindsey Graham and John McCain back in Ukraine. Cocaine in the Ukraine. December 2016. Preparing for a proxy war with Russia. All the way back then. Then Trump came and stopped it all from happening. That's according to the person that posted this on the Twitter machine. Amy Tarkenton. Thank you, Amy Tarkenton, with 81,000 followers. That's only like 81,000 more than I have. All right, here we go. Oh, if you want to follow me on Twitter, by the way, it's at Randy Dascher, Dascher. And I'm sure if you put it in Google search it'll come right up. All right, here we go.
Your fight is our fight.
Ваша боротьба – це наша боротьба.
2017 will be the year of offense.
Рік 2017 рік буде ріком нападу.
All of us will go back to Washington and we will push the case against Russia.
I'm sorry, I have to keep interrupting it. I can't express how much I hate that guy. He is such a J.O. I can't stand him.
Повернемося до Вашингтону і ми будемо відстоювати санкції проти Росії.
Enough of a Russian aggression.
Досить вже російської агресії.
It is time for them to pay a heavy...
Okay, now, so you don't get confused. It's not like Lindsey Graham is translating what the Ukrainian guy is saying. Lindsey Graham's the one saber rattling, and then then the Ukrainian interpreter is saying it in Ukraine language for those who are Ukrainian to understand.
Your price.
Час вже щоб вони заплатили важчу ціну.
I believe you will win.
Here's McCain. And I'm not going to say anything negative about him serving or anything like that. And I got to tell you, at one point, back before I got internet, before I'd ever once typed one letter into the internet, I said something really stupid back when I first got into radio. All I did back then, I wasn't on the internet. I a job installing countertops, and I just started as a zany sidekick on a small radio station. And I would install countertops till like 7, 8 o'clock at night after doing the morning show, sitting in on the morning show from 7 to 9. And then I would race to the countertop install job and do that till like 8 p.m. or whatever, whenever we got done. And so I would get home and I would smoke Marlboro Lights and watch Fox News on the cable. And I would constantly hear them say, Maverick John McCain, Maverick John McCain. Well, Maverick John McCain, Maverick John McCain, Maverick John. Like one of those super cuts that guy Tom Elliott makes. He's awesome. They would just say Maverick John McCain. So it hypnotized me into thinking, he's a good guy, he's Maverick. Let me give him my freedom fries. And I had a libertarian running for president on, a really strong candidate too. And Michael Badnarik in studio. And a local libertarian, Darren Wolf, brought him in. And I went out, and he went out on a limb for me to have this guy on. And I sat there like a dope. And I said some libertarian stuff. And then like an idiot, I said, what happens when you have somebody good like John McCain? And I'm so embarrassed by it, but I'm sharing it with you because some people change. And there's nothing wrong with being a neocon and becoming a libertarian, or being a bleeding heart liberal and becoming a libertarian, or whatever you feel like becoming. I identify as a libertarian now. So I thought I was a libertarian back then until that stupid statement came out of my mouth. They looked at me like, oh my God, why are we here? This guy's an idiot. And here we are today. All right. And what was really nice, because we interviewed Spike Cohen, the vice president in the last election for the Libertarian Party. It was Joe Jorgensen, and the vice president candidate was Spike Cohen. And that's one of the things I talked to him about. And because he admitted that he used to sit there and go, Israel's our best ally. We need to go over there and fight. It's the only democracy. And get caught up in that horse crap, the pro-war agenda. All right. But Spike's all 100% pure Mises Caucus libertarian now. At least I like to hope he is. All right, here we go.
Enough of a Russian aggression.
Досить вже російської агресії.
It is time for them to pay a heavier price.
Час вже щоб вони заплатили важчу ціну.
I believe you will win. I am convinced you will win, and we will do everything we can to provide you with what you need to win.
Я вірю в те, що ви виграєте, переможете. Я переконаний в тому, що ви переможете, і ми вам допоможемо всіма можливими засобами.
Yay! U.S. tax dollars and human lives and 18-year-old kids and bloodshed. All right. I said bloodshed, not the S word. Okay. All right. Fantastic then. Many other things happening today. Now, one thing I definitely want to get to, I was driving home yesterday listening to Delaware's Afternoon News with Chris Carl. And he played a segment, I think it was a CBS segment, where it was like another one of these many song plagiarism lawsuits in the news. And I was like, oh, who is that? And I think it was Ed Sheeran or whoever. I don't know these guys. Although I am starting to recognize some of these songs because I actually do listen to our sister station down the hall when I'm looking for music on the dial. I actually just tune into that. I don't know if my tastes are changing or the format there is changing, or whatever it is. I actually listen to it when I'm not listening to news. And so I recognize the one song. And so I want to get to that, too, because I am absolutely fascinated by these lawsuits where someone will record a song and someone will go, well, that sounds like my song that no one ever heard. And you know what? That sometimes it's a very legitimate thing, and sometimes it's the furthest thing from reality. And then sometimes you just have to tell yourself there's only 12 notes, which led me down a rabbit hole last night of just looking up, are there only 12 notes? And some guy was trying to explain on YouTube how there could be a 13th note. It just sounds like one of the notes is flat to me, but what are you going to do? All right. So yeah, I do want to get to that. I pulled all those. I pulled all that music to compare the one. Compare the lawsuit stuff. All right. So we'll get to that later, and Dave Casey coming in later as well. All right. Uber libertarian, and we're just going to talk about stuff. We're not. He's not like pushing some libertarian agenda. We're just going to talk about life in general. So, all right. And, it's all political right now because you're in a war that's completely politicized. So yesterday, Rick played this segment, and it's somebody in Parliament asking about, and as soon as I want to see it, then the all right, let me back this up. Sorry, forgive me. Okay, let me preface it with what it is. Rick writes, if you think American school board meetings are crazy, listen to what's happening in Canada, with the government threatening to freeze credit card and other bank accounts of peaceful protesters who committed no violence or blocked any roads. This is how stupid they are in Parliament. A member of Parliament is trying to get the appropriate minister to answer a question about the cost of housing. Obviously a political pitfall, and here's the answer so you get. So here we go. Fantastic. 9 years later, it opens. Okay. Hopefully there's not an ad. Here we go. Oh, I love it when it doesn't play. The
average cost for a home.
Let me back it up.
In the question is for the Minister of Middle Class Prosperity, who is a member of Parliament here in Ottawa. What is the average cost for a home in the city of Ottawa?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, my title is the Minister of Tourism and Associate Minister of Finance. I'm sure my honourable colleague across the way knows that. But let me say, Mr. Speaker, 156,000 jobs.
The Honourable Member for Carleton.
The Minister of Treasury Board can help by telling us the average cost of a house in the nation's capital.
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I want to say 106% of jobs have been recovered since the lowest point of the pandemic.
Member for Carleton.
What is the average increase?
Now, you might notice he's answering a question like, what's your favorite color? Pool table. I mean, it sounds like when my mother was alive in the final stages of Alzheimer's and dementia. But this guy is just, I guess, being a smart aleck, if you will. And I said to Rick, this totally reminds me of a bit on Saturday Night Live back when it was actually funny. And they would do Celebrity Jeopardy, and Norm Macdonald would be on there. And the other guy who does the one who's actually pretty good at night, Jimmy Fallon. Not to be confused with Jimmy Kimmel. God, what happened to that man? So Fallon is playing this guy, French Stewart, who's the guy who squints his eyes on that third rock from the sun, which is a weird show. And he answers every question on Jeopardy wrong. So I'll give you a little more of this guy, and then I'll show you why I thought there was a comparison to the two.
In house prices since this government took office in 2015.
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canada's economy contracted by 17% between February and April 2020, the largest and most sudden contraction in real GDP since the Great Depression, and we're already back.
Well, Member for Carleton.
Just the average house price.
The Honourable Minister.
5.5 million Canadians lost their jobs, and they're all back.
He's clearly just answering, not addressing the question, and just babbling anything but the answer to the question the gentleman's asking. Kind of like what I thought was happening on Celebrity Jeopardy. And here's the clip that for whatever reason, I thought of this.
French Stewart, the sound a dog makes.
Who is John Cafferty in the Beaver Brown Band? Thank you very much. I'll take Animal Sounds for 800.
No! Good Lord!
And this guy has the same confidence where he just answers the question with a completely wrong answer and just charges on like nothing's going on here.
Member for Carleton.
And what would they pay for the average house?
The
In
Minister.
2020, unemployment rated more than doubled from a pre-pandemic level of 5.7% to a record of 13.7%, 6% now.
Member for Carleton.
Like he just answered something completely different, much like this.
This condiment is made from mustard seeds. French Stewart.
The answer, of course, is onions. I'll take condiments for 800. Thank you.
That's not the right answer.
All righty, let's go to Wally, who has, he wants me to change my name to Rand. Kind of like Rand Paul, who I love Rand Paul. And let's go to Wally. Hello, Wally. Thank you for calling the show. How you doing?
Well, I am practically perfect.
That's great.
But I was thinking that all your radio personalities have a single syllable name.
Okay.
For example, Joe Pine, Bob Grant. These were both Los Angeles personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bob Grant came back east, went to work for Philadelphia, and then they heard him up in New York, and WABC snatched him away.
Oh.
And he was on up there until he died. So anyway, one other thing I wanted to mention.
Sure, go right ahead.
Joe would do a commercial.
Yeah.
And he'd say, and when you get there, tell him Joe sent you.
Okay.
Very effective, very effective.
Yeah, the sponsors want to know that it's that their investments is paying off. So that's smart.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, so what I did, I moved to Los Angeles, and I was applying for a job with Transcon Lines, and I thought I need a more presentable suit. So I went to a Zachary Hall on Wilshire Boulevard, and Joe Pine. There was a big picture in the front window of Joe Pine.
Yeah.
And I went inside, and I said, I'm Wally, and Joe sent me. And They said, oh, wonderful. They're rubbing their hands together, and they walked around me, 360 degrees around me. They said, we have just the thing for you. And they went down into the basement and got a brown checkered suit that they hadn't been able to sell, and brought it up, and this is perfect. And so I bought the suit. It was less than $100.
Right.
And I got the job with Transcom. So Joe got a little bonus for sending me to Zachary Hall, and Zachary Hall benefited by selling an old suit that they hadn't been able to sell.
Well, that's awesome. I love that story, Wally. If I ever get an endorsement here and say, hey, mention Randy and get blah, 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 I would love it if you and the rest of the people would do the same thing. That's awesome. You're a great listener.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Well, good. All right, Randy.
All right, buddy.
Rand.
Rand. All right. All right. It might stick.
It might. It just might. Okay. Hey, have a good day. I enjoy listening to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I enjoy listening to you. Take care. All righty. We'll be back with more of this fun. It's producer Randy Dascher, filling in for Rick. Rick will be back tomorrow. Stay tuned for more fun right after these words.
WDEL, home to the Mattress Warehouse Creative Center.
Boy, oh boy, Brother Mike.
Hey, Brother Tim.
This is a risky season.
Winter?
Nah, we're past winter.
Spring's not till March.
Right.
So that makes this...
Stretch season.
That's a season?
Comes every year.
Between winter and spring?
Between